just like that, we're back. It's a Views from Section 400 podcast. Jack, Brian, and Matt bring you along for this action-packed episode. The boys had a weekend. Drinking, partying. Brian especially will get into his endeavors in the back of Uber cars as the weekend rolled on. But yeah, action-packed episode on the cards. We're trying our best to bring all the energy after a booze-filled weekend. But the NFC West, previewing that today. Jump into Mike of the Week before we get into that. But, Brian, live from a hotel room in Missouri, tell us about your weekend, man.
In Fort Leonard Wood, St. Robert, something, Missouri. Here for the night after a 3-day bender down in Lake of the Ozarks. Congrats to the soon-to-be groom, Russell, and his soon-to-be wife, Paige. But it was an incredible bachelor party. A lot of drinking, like you said, a lot of boozing. I fought a concrete slab on the ground and lost. So got a little bit of a scratch on my face here. Lost all motor control of my legs and happened to hit the ground. But, besides that, we're living. We're thriving. We're surviving. It's been a fun weekend.
Do you remember the back of the Uber?
Not at all.
Okay. Yeah.
But, yeah, I must have been.
What would you do without Rose, dude? What would you do without her?
I'd probably just be yelling at Ubers every night. But it must have been in some kind of pain because she told me to sit up and I let out the biggest F-bomb of my life.
She told Brian to sit up and relax and just chill. And Brian just screams the F word at the top of his lungs. It's the most unbelievable video I've ever seen. I don't know if it'll ever get released to the public.
No,
but you can use your imagination of Brian in the back of an Uber, this poor old lady turning around telling Brian to sit up, straighten up, and behave himself, 26 years old, to behave. And he just screams at the top of his lungs, bloody murder scream. It was the most ridiculous video I've ever seen in my life. Glad you didn't get arrested. Glad you had a good time. And like you said, congrats to Russell on an awesome weekend. Wish I could have been there. And congrats to also Paige. I know you guys are ramping up the wedding stuff, so that'll be fun when we get to celebrate you guys right in early November there. But, yeah, obviously a crazy weekend, fun weekend. Let's jump into the Mike of the Week. Quick word from SeatGeek first.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's tough to say, but the summer is almost over. With the 80-degree weather and sunny days coming to an end, there's no better time than now to head over to SeatGeek. Whether you want to get to a ball game up in Section 400 this summer, check out an outdoor concert before the weather turns to rain and snow, or go to a football game, yep, those are happening in August, SeatGeek is the premier ticket app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. All of you up in Section 400 can get $20 off your first ticket purchase with code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. Again, that's code VIEWSFROM400 for $20 off your first purchase at checkout. You can click the link in the description of the show to download the app, go to your favorite event, use our code, $20 off. And now, Michael of the Week.
Boom! Yeah, so Mike of the Week. Before the show, we usually go through and see whose Mike of the Week everybody's is, so we don't foul up and double pick. We didn't do that, so I'm going to go first so that I don't care if I mess you guys up. My Michael of the Week is going to be just an interesting stat, and a stat that's going to be the first ever. I don't know if you guys had this one on the cards. Brian's looking at me like he might have it. It's going to be Danny Jansen, the Red Sox guy who is now on the cards. This is going to be a game tomorrow, preparing to become the first major league player to appear in the same game for both teams. What does that mean? Jansen was in the lineup for the Blue Jays when they faced Boston on June 26th. Game was suspended because of inclement weather, scheduled to be made up Monday, which is tomorrow, or as you guys are watching it, so today. In the meantime, he was traded to Boston. Red Sox manager Alex Cora did say he will put Jansen in the lineup when the game resumes. So the first time ever that a player plays for both teams in the same game.
Yeah, that shit's wild.
Insane. Brian, was that your mic of the week?
It was not my mic of the week.
Oh.
I have not been dialed in enough, but that's a great one. And for you listeners out there, if you aren't a fan of Michael of the Week yet, you are now, because there's going to be a trivia question when you're sitting in the bar in like 20 years of who was the guy that made this happen, and you just got it from Mr. Matt. So, Mike of the Week coming in.
I mean, dude, that's the epitome of the Mike of the Week right there. I mean, that is a ridiculous stat.
It is. It is. I remember when he got traded, I remember seeing like a post or two about that. And I saved it, waiting for the right time to use it for the Michael of the Week, but you beat me to it. Is that game happening Monday, like tomorrow?
Like tomorrow, today, when the viewers are watching it. Yeah, it'll be going on. Alex Cora says he's going to get Jansen into the game. I guess it has to actually officially happen for the stat to stand, but all signs are pointing towards that happening come Monday or today, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, interesting stat there. Brian or Jack, I don't know who wants to go. Who's got a hot Mike of the Week? Let's see what you guys got to follow it up.
Yeah, so my Michael of the Week, I am full swing in fantasy football mode. Have had my two most important drafts already, and I have some, overlapping players from league to league, and I wanted to get Brian and Matt your opinions on these guys. There's three guys I have on both my teams. Kyron Williams, running back for the Rams, Mark Andrews, tight end for the Ravens, and Rashee Rice, the wide receiver for the Chiefs. Just quick one or two comments on each of those guys. How do you feel about them? Am I making a good call having them on both my rosters or what?
So your Michael of the Week is asking us for fantasy football advice?
100%. Yeah, this is my time to shine. What up, Brian?
I guess, yeah, it's your segment.
Yes, it is.
Kyron Williams is going to get his job stolen by Blake Corum. I like Mark Andrews and Rashee Rice. It's just a matter of time until – we'll see what the lawyers and the judicial system do with them. But
I agree with Brian on taking over Corum. I think Mark Andrews is your best out of the bunch there, probably the most consistent. And who was the last guy? Rashee Rice. I think there's going to be a lot of mouths to feed, dude. Don't they have – what was the one they have? Hollywood Brown, they got high on. Then was it like Xavier Worthy, or what was the guy's name?
Yeah. They got the rookie Worthy. They got the hurt Marquise Brown. They got the old Travis Kelce. Honestly, the only one I'm really worried about is Isaiah Pacheco. But
so too many mouths to feed, and Rashee Rice, too many off the field issues. I can't get behind that, but.
Okay, so when he doesn't get suspended for a single game, how does that affect your outcome?
To my first point of too many mouths to feed.
Okay.
I like Rice a little more than Matt, I guess, but I don't know. I'd rather have Pacheco or Mahomes in that offense.
Yeah, for sure.
But, all right, well, I'm playing my flag
advice,
with those
that's
three.
My outlook on those three guys.
I was going to say, I am playing my flag with those three guys. We'll check back in after the season, see how they do.
Oh, no, we'll do a check-in after the first 4 weeks.
Sure. Love it.
See if you're pressing panic button, blowing up, fire sailing the team.
I don't think so. I think we're going to be A-okay with the boys right there.
Best of luck, brother.
Thank you.
Brian, Mike of the Week, dude, or what do you got?
Yeah, it's also fantasy football related. We had our 14-team league draft today with the Auburn guys, and it got late in the draft, and I was just looking at, quarterbacks, maybe get a backup quarterback. Never draft a backup quarterback, but, why not? So I was looking around, and I get to around the 200 ADPs on Sleeper. J.J. McCarthy sitting at 225. Daniel Jones, 235. What kind of disrespect is that? J.J. McCarthy's not going to play this season.
Yeah, the news broke a week ago, and they've been doing fantasy drafts since the end of July. So it's just, people were drafting McCarthy all August, and then he got hurt. So the ADP doesn't change.
This is like the biggest draft season these next couple of weeks, so you'd think it would skew enough.
Daniel Jones looked horrible.
Daniel Jones sucks that much.
Like, he has looked terrible. Throwing interceptions in preseason games to backups. I mean, he has looked terrible. I don't care
You
who they
said
have.
preseason doesn't matter. None of it matters.
I don't care.
Not fully healthy right now.
We have a sample size of he's entering his 6th year. Oh, he won a playoff game on the road in Minnesota. I don't want to hear it, dude. Daniel Jones is not the guy. The Giants are not good. And I guess I'm not as surprised as you are that the guy's ADP is that low.
He's out for the season.
Daniel Jones might as well be out for the season as well.
Yeah, straight up.
I mean, shit, man. He's not good.
He can run. He can get you 40 rushing yards a game. That's 4 fantasy points.
Start him, Brian. Go ahead.
2 interceptions.
Go ahead. Pick him up. Start him. Dare you.
Yeah. Pick him. He'll be there for you in your draft, Brian. He'll be there for you to draft.
Oh, he was there for me, and I went Kamani Vidal.
So there you go. Answer your own question. But that's enough there. I'm not dragging on Daniel Jones talk in the Mike of the Week. Before we jump into the NFC West, Jack wants to remind everybody about our Views from 400 Survivor poll. Jack, have fun reading this one, buddy.
If you missed out on the Fantasy Football League, don't worry. You can still get in on the action with us. Join our Survivor pool. How it works, you select one team to win every week. If they win, you move on. The catch is you cannot use that same team twice. So if you take the Chiefs to win week 1, you cannot use them for the rest of the season, be it that they actually win that week 1 game. So if you want to get in on that, send us a message. Brian will get you set up in our pool, and we'd love to see everybody there. I think the pot is – how big's the pot now? Around like 100, 200, 300?
300 grand or –
Yeah. I think we're sitting at like $250,000 right now.
I think we're trying to get to $500,000.
Somewhere between $100 and $100,000. I'll say that.
Yeah, exactly. So we're trying to get to $250,000. Get in on this, all the action, and we'll see you there.
We will see you there. Also, Chiefs play Baltimore week 1. So if the Chiefs are your week 1 pick, best of luck.
Hey, while we're on the topic, I'll give you my week 1 pick. I'll make it transparent. I'm going with the Bengals and Joe Burrow in week 1.
You have to say who they're playing.
Look it up. They're playing.
Right.
I think they're playing New England at home. So Drake May, Jacoby Brissett. Don't give a shit who New England rolls out. I'm going with Joe Burrow in week 1.
I mean, am I wrong? That seems like something that should be like if you're gonna disclose your pick, like at least be like, oh, the Bengals take on the Patriots.
Honestly, off the top of my head, I didn't have it. That's why I didn't say it. But then I remembered it was the Patriots. So
fair enough. Definitely a solid pick week 1. But let's jump into our NFC West preview. I'm pretty excited about this division. I don't know about you guys. Other than the Seahawks, I think every team should be pretty competent. And I know with the Arizona Cardinals, huge question mark, but I might be able to sell Brian because I know I have in the past on some of these teams. 4-13 last year. The over-under sits at 7.5. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. They have a healthy Kyler Murray. This team put up points last year when Kyler Murray played. They were averaging close to 30 points, if not over 30 points. Kyler Murray's a beast. Marvin Harrison Jr. is checking all the boxes in training camp, preseason. I know it is what it is, but he's going to be the guy. They're going to feed him. They have James Conner. The offensive line is competent. I think the offense is going to be somewhat well put together. Huge question mark on the defense. We'll get into that in a little bit here, but jumping in to they also got Desmond Ridder too. So take that for what it's worth. They got a solid backup quarterback. I don't know. Yeah, definitely going to be a interesting year for the Cardinals. I think Brian doesn't seem to be. Why are you already looking at me funny?
I kind of want to dissect this Desmond Ridder little bit of love you just gave him.
He's a backup quarterback. He was a Giants backup quarterback.
Doesn't matter. I don't think Matt was really giving Desmond Ridder.
I was just saying like that he's their new backup quarterback. It was just a quick shout. I wasn't like hyping him up to take Kyler Murray's job.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked who they have last year that had the QB sneak touchdown. He was kind of good.
Dobbs.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs. And, Kyler.
I don't know. It's really not important. Sorry for
Clayton Tune.
Yeah.
Why are we bringing up Clayton Tune on our show, Brian?
You brought up Desmond Ritter.
I just said they got a new backup quarterback. It really was
Desmond
not
Ritter
supposed to.
started half a season last year
That's what I'm
for the
saying.
Atlanta Falcons. Like, he's relevant. All
Hey,
right.
he's the reason Kyle Pitts is this, that, and can't draft him. And
All right, dude. Can I get into the questions, please? Like, I'm like Desmond Ritter. Really? Like, that's what you're gonna get hung up on?
All right, let's move along,
I'm
man.
also kind of mad you didn't bring up my guy Michael Wilson entering his second year.
We'll get there. He had a nice year last year, 500 yards, 40 catches.
He had a game with a couple of touchdowns.
That is your guy. But yeah, the big thing is the quarterback. Kyler Murray, fully healthy. The eyes are always on the quarterback. It doesn't matter at the high school, college, or pro level. Your quarterback is what's going to take you on the road to glory. Obviously, we had the Eagles in 2017 with Nick Foles go on that magical run. But other than that, you usually need the quarterback to make some magic happen and bring you to the promised land. So with that being said, I got the first question. Kyler Murray is going to be feeding Marvin Harrison Jr., feeding him all year. Can we expect Kyler Murray to throw for 4,000 yards this year? Upcoming might sound like an outrageous question, but he got 3,900 twice in his career and 3,750 another year in his career. So he's come very close multiple times, multiple seasons before.
Yeah, when I saw this question, I had to double check because it did seem low. And I think the 1 year 2020 had like 3,971. But
he's gotten close. But now, I know he might have had some years with Larry Fitzgerald, a just young stud, fresh wide receiver one to just load up on the passing yards, and maybe Michael Wilson plays a hand in that as well.
Yeah, I'll take 4,000.
No, the answer is no. If he couldn't do it with, I mean, I'm not even going to really bring Larry Fitz in it because when he was there, like, that's the end of his career. You're not expecting that much out of him. But he had prime D-Hop with him and couldn't reach 4,000 yards. So, no, he's not getting there with a rookie Marvin
Think about
Harrison.
it, though. You got Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, Trey McBride,
James Conner. I mean, I get it. But if you're not doing it with a prime D-Hop who was, like, top two and I guess maybe number two, but, like, a top two guy in his prime and you couldn't hit 4,000 yards, I don't think you're hitting it now. I really don't.
Marvin Harrison Jr. could be better than D-Hop.
No doubt about it, but not in his rookie year. Not rookie year compared to rookie anybody compared to prime D-Hop. Like Puka Nacua just had the best rookie receiver year of all time last year. You want to take rookie Puka Nacua or prime D-Hop? Like I'm taking prime D-Hop, and I don't think that Kyler is going to be able to hit it. I mean, he also like uses his legs a bunch, and James Conner's a good running back. So I just think that I don't think he's hitting this number.
I don't know if he uses his legs as much this year.
I would doubt it. I mean, he just came off of a pretty terrible injury. And I mean, I know he looked good to end the year last year, but you're right. He didn't run as much to end the year last year. And if the Cardinals are smart, they're not going to want him to run as much. But at the same time, I'm sticking to what I said. You're not doing it with a prime D-Hop. You're not doing it now with a rookie receiver.
They are paying him a lot of money. He does have injury history, so they probably aren't going to want to have him running around like crazy. I also, if you watched our shows last year during football season, it was always Tyreek Hill receptions and Kyler Murray rushing yards were two props that I tended to keep going back to the well with. And they were always pretty low. I mean, there were some games where it was like 22 and a half rushing yards. So, he wasn't running for these crazy, crazy numbers. And, again, we'll get into it, but the Cardinals defense on paper is going to be very, very, very bad. They're going to need to be passing the ball a lot. They're going to be playing from behind. I think that helps, his chances to get to 4,000. And I am maybe a little too optimistic, but I am so high on Marvin Harrison Jr. And the connection he might have with Kyler Murray. But that kind of brings me to the next question, because we were talking about Marvin Harrison. And obviously, Jackie just brought up Puka Nacua. Do we see back-to-back records set Marvin Harrison Jr. breaking 1,486 yards? Can he get 1,500 yards this year? It's going to be a lot. I tend to think maybe not 1,486, But I think he could beat Jetta's record at 1,300 in the rookie year.
You're not wrong. The record will be broken, but it won't be broken by him. It'll be broken by the guy down in New York.
Oh, God.
There we go with the Malik Neighbors. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Daniel Jones is tossing him. Daniel Jones is tossing him 1,500 yards. My ass.
How do you know I'm not talking about Theo Johnson?
Oh, Lord.
Shut up.
It could be both of them.
Brian, seriously, answer the question.
I do. I think Malik Neighbors ends up with more receiving yards than Marvin Harrison Jr. There's nobody else. As much as I say Theo Johnson on here, there's nobody else in New York. Jerry Slayton's great, War Eagle, but there's nobody else in New York. At least Trey McBride's in Arizona.
Okay, but Brian, sure, I'll let you have that opinion for half a second. Do you think either of them, Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors, hit 1,500 yards and break Puka's record?
No, but I think the JJ record that Matt brought up, I think Malik can pass that.
Yeah, Jetta's was like right at 1,300, like 1,305 or something like that. I don't know the exact number. It's like right at 13. And I can see Marvin definitely getting there. And I think it's going to be tough to get 1,486, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to go
beat Jetta's, but can't quite get 1,486, or are you going all in?
No, I mean, look, I'm in on Marvin Harrison Jr. I think
I'm so high on him this year.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely a route where he hits 1,500 yards. Like, he stays healthy and Kyler stays healthy. I think that this offense will absolutely be able to produce enough where and to the big point of their defense's ass. Like, I think they're going to have to be throwing a lot in these football games, a lot of garbage time playing. They're just going to have to air it out. And Kyler, unlike Malik Neighbors' quarterback, Daniel Jones, Kyler can get the ball to Marvin Harrison. And I do think that he can have 1,500 yards this year. I would not be surprised for half a second if he breaks this record yet again.
I agree. I like the connection more with Kyler Murray to Marvin Harrison than I do Daniel Jones to Malik Neighbors.
And you might think that for me to say Kyler goes under 4,000 and Marvin Harrison hits 1,500 is like, you can't have both, but you really can because there's nobody else in this offense that I trust. I know Trey McBride is a good tight end. He really put on towards the end of last season, but Marvin Harrison wasn't there last season. You can expect the reception totals, the yard totals to both go down. Michael Wilson, I know Brian fucking loves this guy. He's got a picture of him in his room next to his bedside table, but I didn't see enough from him in year one to say, yeah, he's a 700, 800, 900 yard guy and is really going to eat into Marvin Harrison's cut. So I think that you can have both Kyler to go under 4,000 and Marvin Harrison to hit 1,500.
Yeah, two like completely different numbers too. So I mean, it's definitely can have a world where both. Brian, did you want to jump in on that before we jump to the next question? Because you seem like you do.
I'm looking up Michael Wilson's over under for yardage this year, but yeah, you can move on. I'll bring it up later.
Speaking of guys going off and winning titles and over unders, but as high as I am on Marvin Harrison Jr., my questions are obviously tailored around him, and it jumps into my next one. All Marvin Harrison Jr. probably will be the last time in this that we touch on him. I know it's been dominated by him, but yeah, I mean, plus 750 for NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Are you hammering that or fading that? Who's going to get it? Brian, I don't need to hear Malik Neighbors. Is it between them two for rookie? I mean, plus 750 seems like great odds.
It's got to be Caleb. I mean, there's no number one overall pick.
Brian's out on that.
Well, I don't care on this.
Yeah, because Brian wants fucking Jaden Daniels, and you want to know what's funny is if this NFL, Offensive Rookie of the Year award works like the Heisman did, then maybe Jaden Daniels will win it because Jaden Daniels might have some crazy stats, but the Washington Commanders are winning like 3 football games this year.
I forgot the tirade and rants Brian goes on about Jaden Daniels. That's why I just had that outburst of laughter there.
Caleb Williams and the Bears, like the Bears have an insane, like I have a lot of faith in the Bears defense, compared to most. And then on top of that, they brought in so many freaking weapons for Caleb Williams to succeed that he's really in a position where how can he fail? And it's literally like he's either good or he's ass, and you're going to be able to find that out week 1, season 1 for him. So I just think that he's really in a position he cannot fail, and he will win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I mean, dude, the Commanders just gave a piece that Jaden Daniels would have had to rely on this year to the Philadelphia Eagles and Jahan Dotson. I mean, in an already depleted room, Jaden Daniels just lost another weapon, Brian.
He didn't do anything.
Going to stand on the high horse?
He was looking like shit, and they just handed him to the Eagles.
And said, stop it.
They didn't want – the reports were bad. Get that locker room cancer out of there. And
I don't know if I would
it's
go
already
that
a
far.
depleted room, dude. It's already a depleted room. The Bears have given Caleb Williams so much. And you're right. I guess Caleb Williams should probably be the favorite. But, dude, Marvin Harrison Jr. plus 750, I mean.
Bro, they love giving these awards to quarterbacks. You know that. And if the Bears can win 6, 7, 8 games.
Right. Like,
he's going to get it.
Dude, like, what if the Bears are, like, horrible and they go, like, 5-12?
Okay, well, the Cardinals would need to have a great record, and Marvin Harrison would need to have 1,500 yards. But there's a route. There's a possibility.
Like, did Puka Nacua, did he win Offensive Rookie of the Year last year?
I don't think so. He may have.
I don't think he did.
I don't know how he does it.
Trying to think of the quarterbacks. Who are the quarterbacks? Rookie quarterbacks. Richardson got hurt.
Richardson hurt.
There had to be one.
I know. I'm just completely blanking right now.
Yeah, I mean, if Nacua didn't win it last year, it's, Harrison's definitely going to have a tough shout this year.
I
mean, he broke the fucking record for crying out loud.
Oh, my God. This is a bad miss, guys.
Yeah, like who's the quarterback that we're missing?
This is really bad. Jack, it's in your division.
Oh, it's CJ Stroud. Yeah, duh. I put guys like that out my mind, honestly.
Yeah, I totally.
Yeah, because it was back to back, offense and defense on the same team. It was Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson from the Jets 2 years ago, and then last year it was Will Anderson Jr. and CJ Stroud.
Not looking bright for Marvin Harrison Jr. in the Offensive Rookie of the Year. So maybe fade the plus 750. I think we're now. So I might have just sold myself on maybe fading that bet. But, yeah, the final thing to get into here is the defense. Huge question mark. I went through it, their depth chart a little bit earlier before the show, and it's not great. I mean, Budda Baker's like the only guy they have. Everybody else is scrub level, mid-average, like, Kaiser White's going to be like their star linebacker this year who was on the Eagles that one year, and he was about the only guy I noticed. Their starting D tackle went to Delaware, played CAA football. So I don't know what he's going to do. I think most of the guys on their defense went to mid-major colleges. There's like one guy from Alabama and everything else. Like there's a guy from Tulsa. Is Tulsa mid-major?
They're American. I guess you could say the Americans mid-major.
And a guy from Tulsa, Delaware, Washington State. Just, I don't know. Wasn't like they were loaded up with these, which I guess you don't have to, but it was just interesting to see. But yeah, Budda Baker, the only one of note on that defense, at least that I noticed. Despite having a defensive-minded head coach in Jonathan Gannon, who, oh, by the way, 38 points led up in the Super Bowl as the Eagles' defensive coordinator, which is completely outrageous. So take that what you want of defensive-minded head coach. But, yeah, I'm setting the line at over under 25.5 opponents' points per game. They let up 26.8 in 2023. I think this is soaring over, and I would even say they might let up like 28 points a game. What do you guys think?
Delaware mascot a blue hen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have a starter that's a blue
Starting
hen
D tackle.
and have a good defense. I feel like blue hens are kind of not very
Their
tough.
defense is going to be bad.
It sounds really bad.
Yeah, I hate to agree with this, so let's just move on.
Hey, maybe the guy from Tulsa and Desmond Ritter have some chemistry going.
This defense sucks, dude. They're gonna give up 25 points a game. But I don't want to be agreeing with you guys all night. So let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean the final one, over under 7.5 wins. I think there's a path to 8 or 9 wins. I'm high on Marvin Harrison. The defense scares me. Oh, it's so tough. And first of all, Brian, you had 7.5. Some spots I saw 6.5. So where can we fairly put the line?
Well,
Because if it's 6.5, I like 7 wins. But 7.5, I don't know. I can get to 8.
yeah, so 7.5 was plus 124. So I guess if you're going 6.5, it'll be more like minus 150, minus 160. So
I like 7 wins. I don't like 8 wins. So I'll take under 7.5 over 6.5. I think there's a path for the Cardinals to make the playoffs. I really do.
There's definitely a path.
I mean, I guess we'll get into Seattle in a minute, but I think the Seahawks are going to be better than people expect, and they're clearly the worst team in this division. The Cardinals are.
So you're going the under here?
Yeah, I'm taking the under.
All right. Well, because you guys are both taking the under, I'm going to take the over and tell you exactly how they get there.
There's
Kyler
definitely
Murray.
a path.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to tell you right now. Kyler Murray coming fresh. He played the second half of the season last year off the what was it, ACL injury. We usually say players in their second seasons off of an injury like that are at their best version. So you're going to get the best version of Kyler Murray that we probably have seen, outside of his early years with prime D-Hop that we were talking about earlier. So you get Kyler back healthy. He's like Lamar or Jalen Hurts. With his legs, he can fucking kill you, and he can be unstoppable. Nobody scrambles like Kyler. I'll say that right here, right now. He's so small. He's so hard to get a hold of. On top of that, you got Marvin Harrison, the best receiver in this loaded receiver class, best receiver prospect, debatably, of all time. Trey McBride coming into his second year now. He's going to be, we saw it at the second half of last season. He became a force. I think he finished as like tight end 3, if I'm not mistaken. So, or maybe he was a tight end 1. He was up there. So he's a dog. You got James Conner as the running back. Never fucking count out James Conner. That man beat cancer. He can beat whoever the fuck you throw in front of him. So this offense could be one of the best in the NFL. And I know I don't think their defense is all that good, but if your offense can score 35, 40 points a game, you can be A-okay and win 8 games.
Boom. Take that, Brian.
Believe what you want to believe, but
Well, rebuttal it with your Seahawks right here. Why are they going to be better? Let's go into the Seattle Seahawks.
well, the Seattle Seahawks are going to be better because they have 3 dogs at receiver and the offensive coordinator coming from Washington, where he coached basically the same team in terms of just receiving talent. And when you're playing against the Arizona Cardinals, they're not going to be able to stop that at all. They might as well just leave the stadium because nothing can happen. The Seahawks aren't good enough to beat the Niners. They might be good enough to split with the Rams, but they're going to sweep the Cardinals, and they're going to win some games, especially when teams have to travel up to Seattle. Now, they're not going to win a Super Bowl, and they're never going to win a Super Bowl again. But they can
we put some kind of like fun little wager on that? Because I'll take the Cardinals at least get 1 win, and you have that they sweep.
Ooh.
Okay.
Because
I
think the Cardinals, I don't think the Seahawks sweep at all. And you're convinced they sweep the Cardinals?
Yeah.
The Cardinals will win that game in Arizona.
They're not going to be able to stop them.
What's there to stop? Geno Smith sucks.
They got the NFL leader in passing yards through week 7 last year, Sam Howell, waiting in the wings.
Oh, God. Sam Howell's elite. Remember that tirade last year from Brian?
Yeah, that was the wrong piece to come up with to combat that answer, brother. Sam
Sam Howell
Howell
can
is a
sling it.
nobody. The real answer is this new OC from Washington is going to use DK Metcalf, second year, first overall receiver from last year's draft, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Tyler Lockett, who we've known and loved for so many years. He's going to use those three, just like he used Rome Odunze, Jalen McMillan, and who am I forgetting? Jalen Polk with New England now. Just like he used them last year in Washington to get Washington to a freaking national championship. Who would have thought? Who would have thought Washington would be there? You know what I mean? Well, we did. I know we did, but we're like that. You know, for everybody else, you know, and that OC comes into Seattle. Like Brian's saying, I could see them being an explosive passing offense with Geno Smith at the helm. I think we saw enough from him 2 years ago to say this guy still has something left in him. And I could see good things happening for the Seahawks. Do I think they sweep the Cardinals? Potentially. Do I think they split? Potentially. I think this is one of the more competitive divisions in football. But to be fair, I got to let all of our viewers know, I always think that this is one of the most competitive divisions in football. I mean, you look at their rosters top down at the beginning of each year, and all four of them are like, damn, this could be a really damn good team. But somehow, some way, you know, Shanahan and the Niners are just going to rein it in.
A lot to unpack there.
Yeah,
a lot to unpack.
I really like Seattle.
No, you don't, dude. Geno Smith is going to – you guys are going to watch. I don't care. There's a reason they brought in Sam Howell. It's because they're already worried. Geno Smith, he's injury prone. He turns the ball over. He had one nice year. It's a completely overhaul. It's a rookie head coach, rookie coordinators. It's a rebuild. It's a total rebuild in Seattle.
Is it a rebuild? It might be a transition year.
I don't think it's a transition year. I don't go by transition years. It's a rebuild or it's a not. There's no such thing as a transition year. It's a joke. It's a joke of a way to explain a rebuilding year. It's trying to make yourself feel good about the inevitable, and that is the rebuilding year. And it's what it is in Seattle, man. I mean, all the points. I mean, you're in year 2 of Jonathan Gannon down in Arizona. You have a healthy Kyler Murray. You have pieces around Kyler Murray to take the leap. Look, the defense, maybe they make a move mid-season if they're trending in the right direction. Let's not forget, I mean, there's a path to like 7 or 8, 9 very, very, very winnable games for the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know that there's that same path for the Seahawks. So slight delay there. We lose Brian again on the hotspot, hotel Wi-Fi in the middle of who knows where, Missouri. Technical difficulties, it can happen. But I think I was in the midst of saying you guys shouldn't be writing off Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals and giving this much praise to Geno Smith and the Seahawks offense. I get it. They have Metcalf. I get it. They have Jackson Smith and Jigba and, a couple other pieces in Kenneth Walker. And I really don't even know. Is Tyler Lockett still there? That guy's like 48.
Yeah, this group of skill players is better than Arizona's group of skill players.
It is. But where you're missing, Kyler Murray is at least 5 times better when healthy, maybe 10 times better. I don't know how you can judge it over Geno Smith. And the quarterback is where the games are won and lost. I know they say defense wins championships. It's won on the line of scrimmage. This, that, and the third. It comes down to the quarterback. Kyler Murray is the guy that's going to get him to the promised land. I think the Cardinals are going to have a better year than the Seahawks and a true rebuild year for the Seahawks. And I would say more the Cardinals are in that transition year of trying to get to the playoffs and win playoff games. They have the pieces to do it. Maybe not on defense, but that offense is going to be explosive. And I can't wait until Marvin Harrison week 1. You won't be able to watch, so I'll shoot you a text when he has 150 receiving yards.
I think you're writing off Sam Howell too easily.
The fact you have to jump to Sam Howell is just like proving my point even more.
If he's getting coached up by Ryan Grubb, he just took his team to the Natty in college. Like Sam Howell, I feel like he's talented enough where if he gets a good coordinator, he can be good enough with that cast of supporting stars, really, to lead this team to a very
What have
good
we
offensive
seen
team.
from Jackson Smith and Jigba? What have we seen?
I mean,
We've seen a little
he's a
talent.
second-year guy.
What have we seen in year one?
He's
I mean,
talented.
look, in year one, they were running an
But did he
offense.
have better stats or worse stats than Michael Wilson?
Did he?
About the same.
Did he?
About
I mean,
the same.
okay, but they were not. They weren't in the same position. Michael Wilson was debatably the wide receiver one for his team. You had
No, he wasn't. Hollywood
Jackson
Brown was.
you had Jackson Smith and Jigba hidden behind DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Hollywood Brown was a Baltimore Raven last year.
I thought he was on the Cardinals.
Last year he was a Raven.
Can I get a fact check on that?
Did he spend a year? It's hard to tell with his career trajectory, but
He definitely was on both teams.
I think he was on the Cardinals last year.
I think he was too. So he was wide receiver one. Michael Wilson, wide receiver two. DK Metcalf, wide receiver one. Smith and Jigba, wide receiver two.
Tyler Lockett.
No, Tyler Lockett. Yeah, Smith and Jigba was the 3 guy in a team that ran the ball a bunch because Pete Carroll still was stuck in 1960.
And that was the point I was trying to make. Thank you.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. But again, I don't want to go on and on because these aren't even the teams that are going to be winning this division. But I'm higher on the Arizona Cardinals than I am on the Seattle Seahawks. You guys seem to be way on the other side. I think the Cardinals are going to be exciting this year.
I'm not way on the other side. Like I said,
you and Brian are way on the other side on this.
I think the Cardinals win 7 games and the Seahawks win 9. And the difference is the Seahawks beat the Cardinals twice.
Let us know in the comments below. What side are you on?
I'm not on either side here. I think both of these teams have really high ceilings with what their offenses can project to be. I think they both have holes in their defenses to the point where you really can't call them, Super Bowl contending teams. But with their offenses could both be top 10 to the point where you're dreading to play these teams week in and week out because they're scoring 35 points on the team.
Yeah, we're gonna go in circles on this. So, Jack, why don't you just pick us up on no, we have to go through the questions still. Holy smokes!
Yeah, I mean, we already kind of dissected this team to a T with what the questions were, so we might as well just pick over under 7.5 wins.
Under 7 wins on the dot. Cardinals get 8. Or actually 6 wins for the Seahawks, 7 wins for the Cardinals. That one extra win coming from a split in Arizona.
What's our wager going to be here?
I don't know. We'll come up with something after the show. I'm not sitting here for 15 minutes thinking of something.
All right. Well, Jack, did you pick one? I'm going over.
Let's go. Take the over, Jack, and let's move it on.
Well, you guys are split, so it's no fun either way I go, but I'm going to go with the over. They got a good enough offense and a playmaker or 2 on defense. They can get this done.
Wow. Let's get into the Rams, Jack.
Let's get into the Rams. Now that I'm thinking about the Rams. No, I'm kidding. All right, the Rams went 10-7 last year. Their offense, man. It's Matt Stafford, second year, Puka Nacua, who just set the rookie receiving record we talked about. They got Cooper Kupp, the Triple Crown winner from 2 years ago, and Kyron Williams as their lead back. Drafted Blake Corum this year to be the spell back, the replacement for when Kyron eventually gets injured, as Matt and Brian are predicting.
I didn't predict that. Brian did.
Other guys to know, Aaron Donald obviously retired, RIP him, best defensive player we've probably seen in the past decade or two. But how they replaced him, they drafted the 2 big Florida State defensive linemen, Jared Verse and forgetting the other guy's name, something Fisk. 2 dogs out there. So we'll see what this defense looks like for them, but the big news in Ramland is them bolstering their offensive line. That's sort of been their key focus as of late. Bolstering their offensive line, bolstering their defense because they've had a lot of pieces come in and out. I'm pretty optimistic on this team. I mean, I am a huge Sean McVay fan, huge Matt Stafford fan. I mean, we saw what him and Cup did, literally willed their team to a Super Bowl a couple years ago. I think with them both back and supposedly healthy going into the season, they could really make some noise. So let's get into the questions. With Stafford and Cup coming back seemingly healthy, what is this team ceiling? Like, do we think that they can come back and win another Super Bowl, or are they not there yet?
I don't know about the Super Bowl. Definitely think there's a path to 10-7 again or 11-6. Um, I know it's the last question on there, but just a quick peek of where I'm going to be on question 5. This over 8.5 might be my favorite over under for win totals out of all the win totals that are out there before the season starts. But yeah, healthy Stafford, healthy Cooper Cup, and Puka Nakua. Again, team's going to be scoring a lot, and it looks like they did some things on defense to kind of shore it up and at least try and mitigate the loss of Aaron Donald.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to the health of Puka and the health of Cooper Cup, really. I mean, those are the two guys. The offense is going to go through them. And I'll bet on them both to stay healthy. I like Stafford this year. He could throw for a lot of yards. And I don't think the Rams will win the division, but to make the playoffs again, and then if you just get hot at the right time, especially with McVay. I mean, he's been in the Super Bowl twice, so can't count him out.
Yeah, I like the experience that the head coach and just their whole staff brings, especially with Stafford. I mean, veteran guy.
All right. So, Brian, you're talking a lot about, this offense is going to run through Puka and Cooper Cup. If you had to pick one, who do you think leads this team? Pick your category if you want to, receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns, whatever you want to do, but who leads this team as, the number one option in the offense?
I literally couldn't find the fucking mute button, dude.
God bless you. Who do we think leads this receiving core? Is it going to be Puka, the second year stud, or is it going to be Cooper Cup, the old veteran who is shake and bake number one?
I'll go with Cup on the bounce back. I like Cup to stay healthy all year, and he has the special connection with Stafford. I know Puka had the big year last year, but if they're both healthy and Stafford has his way, Puka is going to lead that team in receiving yards. Not Puka, Cup.
Yeah, I hate to agree with you, Bri, but I like Cup on the bounce back year. And, there's a year of tape on Puka Nakua. It's, the NFL's so advanced. Teams are always, I guess, eliminating the star players. But I think, again, we see maybe not like a huge regression, but teams are just going to be way more prepared for Puka Nakua. I think it now reopens up again for Cooper Cup.
Yeah, I think you guys are absolutely insane. We're talking about a 30-year-old Cooper Cup compared to a second-year guy who just set the rookie receiving yard record with damn near 1,500 receiving yards. If you think that he's not going to come out, pop out, and outdo the 30-year-old, I know Cooper Cup had his greatness 2 years ago when they won the chip, but I mean, guys, come on. We saw him hurt at the beginning of last year, and then at the second half of last year when he came back, he just clearly had lost a step. And I guess you guys are in the camp that was because of the injury, but let's face it, he's 30 years old. He's lost a step. This is Puka's team now.
Cooper Cup never had the step. He was always a route runner guy,
Yep.
Get in and out, and I'm not worried about the step. He's a technician. And I think he'll be back dicing up the route tree this year. I'm not counting Cooper Cup out just yet. I think he's got plenty left in the tank.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right. He's never been a guy that has a step. So when you lose a step and you don't even have a step to begin with, it might be scary time for Cooper Cup, but we'll see.
He might be the smartest player in football.
What?
He might be the smartest player in football.
I'm not going to argue that. He might be.
Jason
There's a
Witten.
chance. He also doesn't play quarterback, which is undebatably more demanding than receiver. But there's a chance that he's smarter than the rest of the 32 NFL starting quarterbacks. You know, there's guys like Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes out there, but maybe Cooper Kupp.
This man just cares about football. He doesn't watch anything else. He goes home, he watches film, he eats a peanut butter sandwich, and then he goes to bed and goes to practice.
I respect it. Look, I'm not going to sit here and like try and bash Cooper Kupp. I'm just saying that this is Puka's team now. Let's move on to the next question. You guys were hating on me earlier when I brought up Kyren Williams. You think Blake Corum is going to come in and do what exactly is going to be my question. But before you answer that, let's keep in mind that Kyren Williams played 12 games last year. 12 games during the regular season, had 15 touchdowns in those 12 games, 15 touchdowns in those 12 games, and averaged over 20 touches in all of those games. So tell me again what you think Blake Corum is doing to Kyren Williams.
The Rams are just – you want me to go?
You go first.
The Rams are just weird, man. I didn't really think about this when you asked, but you don't know what the hell is going to happen. Look at Cam Akers. This guy was going first and early second rounds, and he blew up fantasy teams because Sean McVay pulled the rug on him being the starting running back. You don't know what he's going to do, who he's going to fall in love with, who he's going to feed the rock. Sure, Kyren Williams was great last year. We have no idea what's going to unfold this year. So in terms of a fantasy outlook, I'm not putting high what's the word I'm looking for?
Draft capital.
Draft capital on a running back room that has been a question mark going into the year in and year out. You don't know what the Rams are going to do. They got the rookie running back in Blake Corum. I think there's enough red flags there based on history, what we've seen, and a rookie running back coming in to, again, like you said, spend that draft capital on a guy like Kyren Williams, regardless of the year he had last year.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't mean to kick Florida State fans down when they're already down, but Jimbo Fisher.
Oh, I was waiting to talk some Seminole football for Mr. Jack.
Jimbo Fisher and the new staff, and they just don't run a very tight ship down there. And Cam Akers coming from there, Sean McVay clearly didn't like. He wasn't fitting into the kind of running scheme that Sean McVay runs. They now bring in Blake Corum, playing for Harbaugh down in Michigan. He's not going to take any shit. He's going to fall into what McVay's trying to do. And at the end of the day, he's just a more talented runner than Kyren Williams. So if Blake Corum practices well, McVay's going to like him, and his talent's just going to make him become that starter over Kyren Williams.
Okay. And, Matt, to your point, I'll say you're absolutely right that we really have not had any idea what this running back is going to look like, since Todd Gurley was there, right? Since McVay has had Todd Gurley, we really haven't had a solid guy back there. But what we do know is that he picks one guy and he likes to work the fuck out of him. So with me getting Kyren Williams projected to be the starter, I am happy about that. I probably should have added the note that I did back him up with Blake Corum in the draft, in one of the two drafts. So I'm feeling good about that. But Brian, to your point, to say that Blake Corum is a better runner, or, I don't even know the words you use exactly because it was kind of preposterous, but to say that Blake Corum is better than Kyren Williams is just tough for me to hear. I understand the Harbaugh, he'll get in line point. I totally agree with that. But we're talking about a running back who was running behind that Michigan offensive line and Michigan offense and really wasn't. He was a good running back, but he wasn't explosive or anything. You're worried about that or the guy who just averaged over a touchdown a game in the NFL last year? Not college football, the NFL.
Blake Corum had multiple games of like 200 yards. He was the Michigan offense. That's why we shit on J.J. McCarthy so much. It was Blake Corum.
Definitely was the Michigan O-line and Blake Corum was what really propelled them to that national title.
It was the defense too, but
True. But on the offensive side of the ball, where it wasn't J.J. McCarthy lighting it up with passing yards, that's for sure.
now that
ADP
their
over
offense in general didn't really light it up. But I understand what you're saying.
200 yards rushing in a game. It's 200 yards rushing.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Whichever way you want to paint it. But you got an over-under for us yet, Jack? Or are you still firing off these Rams questions?
I don't know, Matt. You want another one or not?
You want to pick up the pace here as it's 38-30.
Sorry, you got a hot date or something?
I got some things to do.
All right. Well, if you got things to do, tell me who's going to be the fourth guy in this Rams offense, because we all know Puka, Kyron, and Coop are going to be there. They're going to be riding.
Well, I think we know Cup and Puka are locks. I don't.
Okay. Let me rephrase so you guys can keep your fucking hand out of your pants. But we got Puka, we got Cup, and we know that Sean McVay rides the fuck out of his starting running back, which is Kyron Williams as of right now. Who's going to be the fourth guy?
Tutu Atwell, is he still?
Uh-oh. He said Tutu Atwell.
What the fuck is this podcast?
He said Tutu Atwell, and Zoom said no.
Are we rolling or what?
Yeah, let's get this over-under going.
Over under
Mike's
8.5 wins for the Rams.
I told you it's my favorite. You guys already know it's my favorite win total. I think out there to bet. Besides the Eagles, I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I like the over as well.
I love McVay and I love this Rams offense, but
Took a lot of stock in it.
I did take a lot of stock in it. 8.5 wins.
Just to come in and take the under now.
I want to take the under, but 8.5. I'm surprised their line's at 8.5. I think they're a 9-win team. I'm taking the over.
After winning 10 last year.
Yeah, I don't think they're necessarily better. I think their defense has a ton of holes, but they should win 9 wins. They should win 9 games if Stafford stays healthy.
Also, Tutu Atwell is still on the Rams.
He's your fourth guy.
Right.
Jack, you asked for a fourth guy. Like, who do you want me to pull out here, dude? Like, it's the fucking fourth guy for a reason. Shaking your head like they're like, dude, there's a reason it's a fourth guy.
I think Will Dissly might be there now.
Okay, well, Matt, like to put it in perspective, though, like the fourth guy on the Eagles is like Dallas Goedert, and he's worth a damn. So
Right, because the Eagles are a way better team.
we're talking about the Rams here. We're not talking about that big of a difference. I mean, look, you want to talk about the Seahawks? The fourth guy is Tyler Lockett or JSN. You know, they're pretty good players. You want to go back to Brian's Cardinals? It's Michael Wilson, dude. He fucking loves. You know, fourth guys are important.
I think
Fourth
they're my
guys are important, dude.
Yeah, it's not Will Dissly. It's Colby Parkinson that's there now.
There you go. Who do you taking? Colby Parkinson or fucking Tutu Atwell? I'm taking Atwell all day in those two.
Yeah.
I'm taking neither of them, but
Well, there you go. Let's
Yeah,
get on to
D-Rob.
what?
I was going to say Garoppolo, but yeah, D-Rob too.
Yeah, and who was the is Van Jefferson?
Yeah, Van Jefferson
Not there.
I think is with the Falcons now.
He's in Atlanta, yeah.
Oh, did you just say Jimmy Garoppolo? Dude, I thought we were like a serious sports podcast. What are we doing here?
You know,
Why? Who brought up what?
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the fourth weapon in the Rams offense. Like, what are you talking
I
about?
never said that.
That's what Brian said.
I was bringing him up. I'm looking at their depth chart. I was just like, oh.
Okay, Brian, can we go on to, like, dude, we're talking about the fourth option on the Rams. Like, that's when we know we've gone off the rails. Please, can we go into the Niners?
Yeah, last year 12-5, lost in the Super Bowl to the Chiefs. Over under setting 11-5 this year. But there's plus money if you want to take the over. I don't think any of us really like the 49ers. I just drafted Brock Purdy in my fantasy draft, so I'm going to have to root for the Niners a little bit. Over under 11.5 wins.
Under.
Over. No, give me the under, dude. Give me the under. Fuck the Niners. They're not winning 11, 12.
Brock Purdy's going to fraud this year. They're not going to be as good. Schedule's tougher.
Yeah, I mean,
the division's tougher.
Dude, their fourth option is George Kittle. Like, fucking fuck fourth options, dude. They're terrible.
Yeah.
We need some fourth option merch out here soon.
Yeah, we do. That's actually a great idea.
Fourth
Write
option.
that down. Can you write that down?
Write that down. Write it down.
Can you get that noted? That's a great idea for merch.
Yeah, I'm taking the under as well. So I guess we're squad riding the 49ers under. But
right.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'm going to take the over because they have the best roster in football. So give me them.
Other than the Philadelphia Eagles.
Other than the Eagles, but the Niners. The Niners.
The who?
The Chiefs.
I don't know, dude.
On paper, no, because the thing is like Mahomes, the greatness of Mahomes doesn't necessarily show on paper, but on paper, the Niners have a better roster top to bottom. Give me the Niners. They're going to go over.
It's a lot of wins.
Yeah, and they did it last year.
That they did.
And they did it last year after losing 3 games. Like they were on a 3-game skid for no fucking reason going into their bye. If that doesn't happen, they could have lost 1 or 2 games last year.
Yeah, they won the bye, and your Jags lost the bye.
Yeah, I remember it very well, Brian. All right, that was the start of a lot for us, or a little, if you want to put it in perspective.
All right. Well, who's winning the division?
Will's gonna be pissed.
Will's gonna be so bad.
Almost there, dude. Take us home, Brian.
All right. Well, as you guys can tell, the technical difficulties in this podcast are crazy. I think it's just an omen to show how dead our brains are right now. The technology is just as dead.
Yep.
But who's winning this division?
I hate the Niners. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, all 4 of these teams have a shot, but top to bottom, the Niners clear and away have the best team. Give me the Niners.
Seahawks do not have a shot to win this division.
I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks.
Wow.
There's a path for all 4 of these teams. It ain't great, but there's a path.
And it starts with Sam Howell.
Oh, Lord. I don't think it starts with Sam Howell, but yeah, that's the show. The NFC West obviously got heavily into that one. I thought we gave some pretty good insight. Obviously sped through the 49ers, 1, because of technical difficulties, 2, because I'm not glazing the San Francisco 49ers. But that's all I got for this one. I'm Matt, Jack, and Brian, always along for the ride, action-packed. Slightly interrupted sports conversation. It's been a long weekend. Everybody have an awesome week. We'll see you in the next one. Football season's here. Hey, Jack, how about those Seminoles, baby? I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
War Eagle.
Some really fun stuff planned next week. Stay tuned.
This kid just
episode 100. Did he just leave?
Fucking lagging out again.
DJ Savage.
That's pretty on brand. Episode 100 next Monday.
Grow the fuck up and get some Wi-Fi.